So, Jeff Gerstmann, a well-known video game journalist, reviewer.
He's on Giant Bomb now, right?
Been around for a while. Is generally been known as one of the good ones. A guy who's going to review games accurately and spit out his opinion in as objective of a way as he can.
He's gotten in trouble for reviews in the past, correct?
Yes, he has.
He got fired for, was it Kane and Lynch 2?
I believe it was Kane and Lynch 2. But anyways, basically he came down with an honest review while working for a website that had, I think it was Kane and Lynch 2's advertising splash shit all over it, and it made him look bad. It made the site look bad, and he ended up having to find another job. So, anyways, he comes out with a review for Fallout 4, and I believe he gave it a 3 out of 5.
He gave 2 different scores, I think, one for PC, one for console.
Sure, but let's talk about we'll talk about the 3 out of 5 one, because I think that's really what's really at stake here. I'll quickly say that 3 out of 5 for Fallout 4. I think that's about accurate. Good game. I'm enjoying it. It has done absolutely nothing to push it forward. The choices feel less meaningful than they did in the past, and it's got some bugs and glitches in it. Wouldn't not recommend it to someone, but I can't go all out and be like, yeah, it's going to change the fucking game, because it's not. So, he releases this review. I agree.
By the way, and plus I think he gave it a lower score because of the technical shortcomings.
So on the console version, which got a 3 out of 5, and I believe the PC version got a 4 out of 5, he gave it a 3 out of 5 because of the technical shortcomings. Technical shortcomings that have always been around in these sorts of games that people learn to look past, but are worth noting, such as, objects floating in front of you instead of being put down or put into your inventory properly. Mm-hmm. So, Rooster Teeth, the podcast, 3 people
commented on it. Real quick, this is where I'll play it. I'll put the excerpt right here so you guys can listen to it, and then we'll come back to it.
I have a bone to pick, and it's people who review shit low, because I feel like people do that to be like, we're different.
Yeah.
Everybody gave Fallout 4 90s and up, 70.
Yeah.
Like, you're not different or special just because you review a game low.
Look, we have legitimate things to say, and if we don't rate it low, you won't know how legitimate they are.
Yeah, nobody will come to our site to look at it.
No,
like, another 90? Whatever.
Yeah, people, especially before the game came out, people were jumping on like that negative bandwagon, which is why one of the first things I started talking about this episode was I feel like the bugs and the negativity is really overblown. Like people are like, and that's like what people are making a stand on to try to stand out. Like, oh, well, we're different. We have a more keen eye than the average reviewer. Like people were jizzing all over Jeff Gerstmann and Giant Bomb because they like called out all the problems in the game.
They were like, it's a technical mess.
Yeah, it's like, oh, thank you, Jeff Gerstmann, for keeping it real.
We sipped wine and ate cheese on crackers as we wrote our review.
Yeah.
And we're back.
So if you're done throwing up in your own mouth, let's talk about that for a minute. So first of all, there is the assumption there was an assumption made here that someone gave this score, or gave this game a low score to stand out because they want to feel like they're different or special. First of all,
Meg said that on the show. She brought it up.
Gerstmann's been doing this forever. Gerstmann doesn't need to stand out. Gerstmann's spot is secure. Okay? No, he doesn't need to draw attention to himself.
Giant Bomb's a pretty big website to begin with.
Yeah. So, I don't think they need to worry about people going there, which is something else that they said. People are going to go to Giant Bomb. You know what I think is even weirder is the fact that, I'm just going to say it. When Fallout 4 was announced, we could have all predicted the scores across all of the mainstream sites. Yeah. It was going to be 85 to 95 across the board.
One of the biggest games of the year. It's one of those AAA titles come out, they automatically gets a 90.
And we've kind of discussed this before. It happens with games like Fallout. It happens with games like GTA. It happens with games like, maybe not so much anymore with Call of Duty, but it used to, where these games come out and they are automatically awarded an 8.5 to a 9.5, and then 3 months later it becomes trendy for all the people who gave it a very high review to trash it to shit and back.
Sure.
So, that's where I have a problem. This guy actually had the guts to give it a real review, and from what I can see, a very sound review. Because,
and by the way, a 3 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5 is not a bad review.
No, and it's not a bad
for
game.
a movie. It's not a bad review to get 3 stars,
and it's not a bad
or
game.
4 stars out of 5.
So all that said, I don't know if anyone noticed since you saw this little snippet, but the whole time they're picking on this fucking guy for giving a well-reasoned review of a game that he didn't want to particularly fucking blow. they're all wearing little Pip-Boys, and because
that's the computer wrist thing.
Yeah, and that's because Rooster Teeth was sponsored by Bethesda. They got this shit for free. They're all sitting around with their fucking Pip-Boys. They put out Fallout 4 videos leading up to Fallout 4's release. I'm gonna shit out a protest again. So Pat, say something. Say something.
Okay, this is almost too much a slam dunk. You don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So here you have Rooster Teeth. If you don't know, that they got big off of doing. They basically started the machinima genre of using in-game engines off of Halo, specifically to make short films. The Red versus Blue. From that, they're a huge conglomerate now. They're owned by Fullscreen. It's a multi-million-dollar company. They do Let's Plays. They do review shows. They have their own website. They absorb Screw Attack.
They do integrityless podcasts.
They do a podcast that might be called into question this time. But they had a brand deal in place here. There's probably, I didn't check, but there's probably website ads as well, but there's sponsored videos they did on YouTube, skit videos and such. These brand deals are not cheap, Ian. And for a site like Rooster Teeth, we're talking...
Thank you, Pat. I know.
I'm just elucidating it. We're talking potentially probably tens of thousands of dollars. We're not talking small potatoes here, to promote a game, to do videos that seen by millions of people, to talk about it. So it's okay if you want to go after by the way, it's really weird to go after a reviewer of anything for whatever reason,
because it's personal fucking preference.
I would say it would just be weird to do that in general, but to do it while you're hawking the merchandise of your sponsor on your wrist is not just tacky, it's pretty freaking disgusting.
It's like chugging a bottle of Ipecac. You're going to vomit all over.
Disgusting's not even the right word. It's filthy. It's filthy.
It's obscene.
Yes, it's obscene.
It's like watching double anal in a fucking seedy porn theater.
Gus Sorola's quote is probably one of the biggest ones I want to focus on. This is in quotes, trying to stand out like, oh, we're different. We have a more keen eye than the average reviewer. Like, people were jizzing over Jeff Gerstmann and Giant Bomb because they called out the problems in the game. I don't know if people were jizzing over a review that was still positive.
Yeah.
Maybe people were saying, oh, this is interesting, it's different, but it's not like people were saying, oh yeah, the game that's pretty good, someone gave it a review that was honest. I don't think that's how it works.
No.
And I don't see why you would go after that one person in particular, unless you had some sort of weird vendetta, or you were overcompensating for the fact that you were heavily sponsored by the people making the game that's being attacked. Either way, it's not just saying it's a bad look, it's beyond unethical to do it. Your only saving grace, Rooster Teeth, is that you're not a journalistic website. You are pure entertainers, but it's still fucking disgusting.
That's still gross. I like this one. Also from Gus Sorolla. Yeah, thank you, Jeff Gerstmann, for keeping it real. Yes, Jeff, thank you for putting out a real review, not immediately slapping a 9 out of 10 on it, and doing it without wearing a fucking Pip-Boy on your wrist, you piece of shit. God, you're disgusting.
All three of them had Pip-Boys, by the way.
All three of them are disgusting. I mean, maybe that's a little harsh. Maybe in real life they're not horrible, disgusting people, but
okay,
from the minute and 10 seconds that I know them, I would not hang out with them. I would not share a sandwich with them. I would do nothing to help them.
Okay, it shows they have really bad judgment.
God.
At the very worst, they are shills for their sponsor. At the very least, they have terrible judgment.
Yes.
And in terms of how bad it looks. Their own fans, for their podcast video, huge thumbs down. On Reddit, people do not like that they did this because it was so out of place. It was almost like they felt obligated to do it for their sponsor. When you're sponsored, you are not obligated to go out of your way to attack people that had a different opinion. The only thing when your sponsorship entails, you usually do is just promote the product, and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily always say it to say something positive, but it definitely doesn't mean you have to go after people that disagree. That's just bizarre. And to single out an individual either means it's some sort of weird vendetta or they were told. That's the only way I could reason why they would do that. Sure. Rooster Teeth is way too big to want to do something like this. It's not like Jeff Gerstmann's review is going to put even a dent in Bethesda's wallet.
No,
not even a cent.
No, they're rolling around in comforters made out of $100 bills right now.
And then Ryan Hayward's response at the end: "We sit and whine on cheese and crackers as we wrote our review." Yeah, because that's what it is. They're being pretentious and giving an honest review.
Right,
4 out of 5 is a pretentious review. Really? Really?
They did everything except for call them hipsters, which I'm surprised they didn't, because it's the same mentality from people who throw the word hipster around. Someone has a differing opinion, rates it lower than the mainstream or something like that, still could be a good review. They're hipsters. He's a hipster. He just eats wine and cheese and listens to his fucking Neutral Milk Hotel records and rates it a 4 out of fucking 5 and gets shit on.
Yeah, I guess there goes our RTX invitation next year to the convention. But this was a bad move, Rooster Teeth, and it just wow, this was not a good look at all.